This is going to be a love reading for Scorpio. What we see from the cards is that someone who so far kept their feelings for you to themselves, now they're finally finding the strength to come forward and tell you how they really feel. We see with the first card, the Seven of Swords, that this person for maybe a long time kept a secret to themselves. You see right here in this picture that they're trying to sneak away in the night with something that maybe doesn't belong to them. And more specifically, what we see here is that this person felt almost ashamed to admit specific things. This might be someone who's usually not really outgoing, someone who has hard time telling other people how they feel. Maybe they never told anyone in their life, I love you. They never had to show affection to someone, and perhaps no one has ever even told them, I love you. I see also from their parents that this kind of affection was never really there. And so for someone that grows up like this, it's always really complicated to just come forward and say how they really feel. And so often they find themselves lying about things in order to hide what is that they really think about a person, what is that they really feel for them. And in fact, my attention goes immediately to these two clarifier cards that we have here. We see, in fact, from these two cards that to them, giving their heart, it's like having to hike this mountain right here. It feels as a huge challenge, as something that to them, it's really not easy to do. Open their heart, letting someone new in for this person really seems as the biggest challenge ever. And I really believe that this comes from things that have happened in the past to them. Again, it could be the family, or it could be toxic relationships that this person had, or maybe they were taking advantage of them. And so right now they find themselves in this position where it's just hard to opening their heart to trust someone new and just tell them how they feel. And we see that in this case, they do have something that they're hiding from you, which it is making me think that also by seeing the other cards, now they do have feelings for you. And they are aware of this problem they have, they are aware of the situation. And so what they're trying to do here is to reach that balance where they can feel good about the fact that they're telling someone the truth about their heart. And with the King of Cups, we have a message that talks about someone who is able to control their emotions, to control the way they feel, even when things are not going well. The King of Cups has learned how to handle those situations that could be painful, and for some people could be really destructive. And so right here we see their struggle into being like this, their strive, and maybe also their attempts to embody this energy, which is really taking them to places they've never been before, making them feel at times very tired, wanting to give up, and just wanting to keep this Seven of Swords energy where they know that it's just easier if they hide everything and not expose themselves too much. But if maybe in the past they succeeded at this, right now instead, they don't really have an option. In fact, with the Lovers showing up here, we can see that this connection that they feel for you, it's way too strong to keep doing whatever it is that they have done till now. The Lovers appears only when the other person feels a very strong connection due to the fact that they believe you might be their soulmate, they believe you balance them, and you give them everything that they don't have. And this is telling us that the way they see you is someone really outgoing, someone who instead has no too much trouble showing their affect to other people. And when they see that from you, they just wish they were the same way. And since they can right now, they just fall for the idea of being with you, having someone like you by their side. And overall, they see that connection between the two of you brings them balance and brings the best out of them. They feel that when they're with you, regardless of the fact that you might just be grabbing a coffee together, doing something small, it doesn't matter. They just feel that they're better when they're with you. And as soon as they're not with you anymore, they just go back to their old self. And in a way, they're hating themselves. They don't want to be like that. And they're trying to change those things that they know are not making them happy. And they're asking the universe to please give you to them so that they can go through this process even easier. And with the Hangman showing up here, we can see that this love and feelings that they have for you, they've been having them for a while. For the longest time, they felt stuck, not being able to tell you how they really feel, not being able to progress in their life, in their love life. They almost felt as though they were a robot, waking up in the morning, going to work, maybe seeing you at work or after work, or maybe just seeing you online at the end of the day, and then just going to bed and doing the same thing the day after. No progress, nothing changing around them, nothing positive happening because they're not getting out of their comfort zone. They're not trying very hard to completely change the situation. But there are some changes showing up. We see them in fact with the Two of Cups. And right here we can imagine that maybe they will talk to you, maybe you will talk to them. With the Two of Cups, we definitely know that you also will have an attraction towards them. And so maybe because you will understand what's really happening, maybe after seeing this video or after seeing few signs from them that they're really struggling in order to get your attention, and sometimes maybe in an acute way as well. Nevertheless, this connection will start. And I see as if you are trying to telling them that everything will be fine. With the Two of Cups, we have two people that are starting off something new, but still being very cautious. Let's spend time together. Let's get to know each other. Let's see where this can go. No expectations, no obligations. But the both of you want those expectations and want those obligations because this connection is actually turning out to be very strong. But it's starting like this only because maybe you don't want to scare them or because they don't want to scare you, trying still to not expose themselves too much. But although here everything is quite positive, we do have an obstacle coming in with the Nine of Swords. This doesn't have to be anything major, but it is something that is going to change the course of the events right after this card a little bit. Again, this is not saying that this won't be able to happen or that there is something else going on from them that you might not know about. It's just a little obstacle, something that the cards are telling you don't make him ruin everything that you have so far, because this does have the potential to be beautiful. And in the extended reading, I'm gonna draw a few more cards to understand more about this Nine of Swords. But also, if you wanna know how the energies will evolve at the end of the month, make sure to leave a comment, #-follow-up down below. In the reading, we've seen that someone is trying to work up the courage in order to come forward and tell you how they really feel. And they're having some troubles given past situations. But at the end of the reading, we've seen a connection starting, something very promising showing up here. And we also seen this obstacle with the Nine of Swords that is showing up, and it's freezing the situation a little bit. And from these cards, I think I know what that obstacle is referring to. With the first card, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is showing us a couple different messages. The first one is that, as said before, whatever it's going to show up with the Nine of Swords, it's going to slow down things a little bit. And so we've seen this situation that at first was already pretty slow. They were trying to get out of their head, trying to be more courageous, telling you how they feel. Then finally things catched up with the Two of Cups going out, talking, expressing your feelings. But now, after this Nine of Swords, we do have a situation that it's going back to be moving slower. Also, with the Nine of Pentacles, we have travels. And this is telling me that one of the possibilities for this Nine of Swords could be the fact that they have to go somewhere far for maybe a month, 6 months, definitely longer than a weekend or just a few days. And so this, again, as we were saying, it's not a deal breaker. It's not something that is going to ruin everything. It's just something that it's going to bring some delays into this situation, which will need more time to evolve. And we immediately see with the World some sort of confirmation of that distance in between the two of you. And as I said, this could be work, or it can be a family issue that they have to take care of. Overall, we see a temporary distance. But while that's happening with the World, we see that you will both try to make up for that distance as much as possible. The World is showing us not only a geographical distance, but also that everything is connected, everything is one. And that connection, to me right here, given the distance, just talks about the communication that you will have in between the two of you while this person is away. And by the way, it could be that you have to go away instead. This energy right here, as all the other energies, could always go both ways. But regardless, this is definitely a time where you will really understand that the way you talk to each other, the way you express love, now that they're finally opening up and expressing love, is actually very similar in between the both of you. You find yourself having beautiful conversations with this person and feeling very satisfied, even if it's just talking. We are going back a little bit to this Lovers energy that showed up there, where you really feel like a match, as though you're meant to be together, and this connection was so random, but at the same time it feels as though it was meant to be. But soon this distance will bring the both of you to become a little frustrated. In fact, with the Four of Cups, you can see this person here sitting there looking in the distance and just not being satisfied with the situation. We see some sort of apathy, which might bring the both of you to, as we were saying, frustration, feeling that maybe this might not work. And it's just normal. As we said, for these two energies, this is nothing that should concern you, nothing that should make you worried, but it's showing up because it might take you to a place at some point where you might be thinking, well, perhaps I should just take my time, get away from these conversations a little bit, live my life, and then when they will be back, we will see how things go and we will start all over again. But I definitely sense that these are just phases, and you will soon understand that even if this person is far, this connection is already growing stronger and stronger every day. And when they will come back, it will be victory. Six of Wands always talks about some sort of huge achievement, and overall we see this person coming back. You see them on this little boat making their way back to you. Six of Wands talks about success, which is definitely telling us that whatever they were doing, whatever the reason was because they had to travel, it's finally completely over with, and they can just come back to you and focus on this new relationship that started in a pretty challenging way, of course, but that has the potential to be the most beautiful relationship in your life. In fact, with the next two cards, we can get a glimpse into that. We have two tens, the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. Right here, you see the potential of this relationship, which can be completely fulfilling emotionally. We see those 10 cups, those two people sitting on the branches of that tree. They balance each other out. They are such a good match. They treat each other with respect. with love, with admiration. But also, the two of you, when we look at the Ten of Pentacles, have really the potential to be successful in every area of your life, able to build a house together, able to build a family together, to have a legacy 30, 50 years from now, so that you can just look back and run through all the memories, all the beautiful times that you had throughout this year, but also back to this first moment where you find yourself with so many challenges, find yourself thinking that maybe this is not meant to be, overwhelmed with this frustration. But then once you get to this point, instead, years from now, this will look such a small little obstacle, given all the beauty that will come into the future for the both of you, for a life that really seems as though you will spend together.